Chris, could you make it where, until somebody speaks, please? We're the, like, we're looking at it ourselves, I guess. I don't know.
We'll get you one if you need, but
I'm good, right?
I have 20 of them in that drawer.
I try to keep one of my coats.
Okay, well, let's just go ahead. Let's bring this, call this meeting to order. LASA Operations Committee meeting, December 11th at 1 p.m. Ryan, could you please, yeah, wait, it's not 1 p.m. It is 1:04. I'm sorry. Could you, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Carey,
Present.
Arms,
Present.
Gable, present, Dorney,
Present.
Girl. Nope, okay, Lewis. Nope, okay, and Fisher.
Present.
Alright,
Great.
quorum.
Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Andrea, you had mentioned.
LAIA, that's short.
Put that for under reports.
G3.
Yes, please. Anything else? Dave, you sent an email regarding the Detroit online. So I did bring that to Brandon. We'll talk about that under his reports. And is there anything else? No, okay.
Do you want to bring up the sewage stuff and the operation stuff? I thought you were gonna table those for another meeting.
The operations, the duties for operations,
duties
yeah,
for
let's do that in January. We need to sit down and talk about that when
Right.
we're
Yeah.
get a little bit more organized. And the
You
other,
had the sewage documents that you presented a while ago, but they but they didn't come back.
not yet.
Not yet.
And, you know, I will, actually, I'll just say it right now, the sewer backup policy that we worked on, that is over with Matt Jane, and he was behind in his work, so he'll have that for the January meeting. But yeah, so then we can move forward with reviewing that and then getting that to the board for approval.
So Jillian, just a thing for the agenda. In the future, maybe we have chair comments.
Sure, under reports?
Yeah, so if there's something like this that comes up that's not, that's gonna be in the January report, then you just say it in those comments, and then you have a moment to speak to give us an update on those little things.
Okay. Oh,
That like, that was supposed to be here, but it's gonna be in January. Stuff like that. And it gives you an opportunity to put it in.
all right, we'll just do G1, and I guess that would have the chair comments first, just in case has to affect the others, and then.
That's just future change to the
Sure.
agenda. You might want to consider it.
Okay, yeah, thank you. All right, anything else? All right, is there a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
I'll move to adopt the agenda as amended, adding G3 LAIA under reports.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Amended agenda is adopted. There were no correspondences. No, now is the time for members of the public to speak to the LASA Operations Committee for up to 5 minutes on any item on the agenda. We do not have anybody present, so we go to online. Anyone online would like to speak?
We have people online, but no hands are raised yet.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes, possible action, November 13th, 2025 operations meeting minutes draft are included. Also in Andrew. Drew.
I'm not sure why that got added. I can remove that.
um,
I don't know who Andrew was. I may have been, I was typing Andrea and it might have just corrected and added that down there.
oh, well, Ted, you were here at the last ops. Maybe that's,
Yeah, I can amend that to change it to Ted.
okay. Great,
Was I here at the last ops?
No,
Mm,
you were
no,
sick.
it was
Yeah,
myself, Harry,
okay.
Nornie, Lewis and Fisher.
Oh, it's under roll call, not under attendance. Never mind.
okay, um. Looks good to me.
Would move the minutes as amended.
Were they ended?
Oh,
Yes, but-
I changed Andrew to Ted Erickson, because I don't know where
Second.
it came from.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have a brother named Andrew, so maybe he was there instead.
Your twin.
No,
Um,
not twins, not quite.
Minutes are approved as amended. Thank you, Ryan, for doing all of that. All right, okay, well, G1, let's begin with Brandon from F&B.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Well, we talked about most of this stuff at the regular meeting, or the board meeting. But let's just so everybody understands, let's start with the wastewater plant. We've had since 22, we've had mercury sampling in the permit that I'm aware of. We've sampled for mercury quarterly as directed by the permit. And would have been October sample. We got a high mercury, significantly high mercury. And our 12-month rolling average went over 1.3 nanograms per liter. Eagle, I notified Eagle. We have 90 days from the date that I sent them the email notifying them to develop a PMP, pollution minimization plan or program. Eagle reached back out to me stating that the 1.3 nanograms per liter is not based off the 12-month rolling average, like I
It's a
interpret in the
trigger.
permit.
It's a trigger for the PMP program.
Yeah, even if they start having you sample for mercury and you have it the very first day you sample, you automatically now have to notify them.
I looked back in the records and in the 2000, the previous permit to the one you're under, there was a PMP program that was required back in 2018. So there should be an old copy sitting in the file somewhere for a PMP plan that was already done. And I also saw the records on MI and Viro where Dave DeVar managed to talk them out of the PMP plan, saying the numbers were low, but the new permit still had the trigger, the 1.3 nanogram trigger in there that would, get it rolling again, if the numbers went up.
Yeah, and I talked to a regional manager. He interpreted the same way I did, that it was a 12-month rolling average because you don't have any numbers to go by. But I pushed back, and Eagle still says the 1.3. So they say they're going to send us a letter of violation, which there's no monetary, no nothing to it. We just have to respond to it and develop the PMP, which is what we're doing. Ted's got a draft he borrowed from somebody else that it looks like we can do pretty easy. A 2-pager, whether we have no known sources of mercury.
There are known sources of mercury.
Okay, then
Okay, once
where?
upon a time, the trickling filters were on mercury bearings way back when.
Okay.
And when they, back in the nineties or eighties, what they were doing, they used to have, sludge, drying on site. And they started testing metals for the sludge and found out that the sludge that, was getting mercury in it from the mercury bearing. So there is an area where the sludge drying was that, could have mercury in it, and wherever the mercury was for the mercury bearing. Also, I don't know if you know, but the old gravel pit that used to be where the preserves is now used to seep mercury, and they used to go collect it there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ted did mention something like that. I mean, I was talking more like dental, usually dentists' offices and industrial users. You're all residential, is what I was getting at. But
Somebody could have still cleaned up a thermometer and, dumped it down the drain.
that's a likely possibility as well.
Well, how long would that take to be removed from the system? I mean, it's such a small amount.
It stays, it takes a long time to dissolve into the water, and if it gets into a low spot or gets held someplace, it can be a source.
Wow.
Can kind of sit there. I mean, we're going to be talking about sewer cleaning. That can help.
Okay,
That can
I
help
mean,
as
you
well.
hope that stuff's getting flushed, but
yeah, but it has to go somewhere and, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's interesting.
So different things, but we'll develop that PMP with Ted and
that's.
get moving there.
Pollution
Um,
minimization plan.
The part per billion.
It's in nanograms,
Yeah.
that you're measuring in nanograms.
So
Not much.
So, yeah.
extremely low level. You got to wear a mask and do dirty hands, clean hands. And we went through our procedure, make sure we didn't make a mistake. And our procedure was right. And we did everything the same way I do it here in Milan as well. So
Hmm,
we're going to do another sample this month. As long as our sample pickup is Mondays. So Colt's working on that.
You guys filter those? Do they call for filtering? The samples?
Not to mention a method I use, or we use in Dexter. I don't know what method he's using.
No, they're not filtered.
I mean, sometimes this certain things can associate, especially metals with solids.
So we do it. We're required to do a field blank as well. The field blank didn't pick up any, atmospheric mercury. So
Once we had a hit on mercury we did it during the snowstorm, and our field plank was contaminated by the snow, and it had mercury in it.
Atmosphere.
Yeah. So atmospheric
Cobalt.
deposition is a thing.
yep. So we also do a duplicate, and our duplicate came out just as high. So that kind of tells us there's something going on, and we notified them. So the raw building, we have a dead short in the lighting. We've I'm looking at my report, which I got to get to you guys. We're working on figuring out a price, because we can swap them over to LEDs. They're currently mercury vapor bulbs. Not to my knowledge, we have not had a bulb explode in there. But we could swap those over to a LED bulb. The LED bulbs that we can get are about $38 a piece. I've got to get a good count of how many are in there. I estimated it at like 10. I think there's about 8 or 10 light fixtures in there. So you're looking at about $380 in parts. And we need to rent a lift to be able to get up to the lights with the high ceiling. We can't really do it with a ladder safely. So we got a price for that we can rent for $310. We pick it up. And I'm thinking about a day to do the work, and labor in the lift rental is about $1,200. But I want to try to incorporate that into something on the water system that we've got to work on as well. This is some out of scope work of some plumbing with the pressure They call it a PID. It's a pressure. It's for when we do the water tower. It runs the well on pressure, kind of maintains the pressure. I've got some parts kind of picked out for that. I think we can do that for probably about $600 in parts. And if I can incorporate the lights in that, we can do the labor a lot cheaper. Kind of do it in 1 day or day and a half to do it. That way we can do it all kind of in one. But I will get those numbers as soon as I can. One thing that kind of is ongoing, and I think we probably should bring it up again because I know you're probably getting close to budget again. We've got that price from Northern Pump and Well on the water side to replace flow meters at well number 1 and 3. We should probably make sure we put that in the budget and get that done maybe next year because I think
So you still need to know when the sanitary survey is, so how much time we have to get this prepared would be useful.
I can look.
When was the last sanitary survey letter?
Let me look.
Didn't we replace one already?
Yeah, was that pump 2?
Well 2 has a new one. That was
Yeah, that's what,
that was
okay.
quite a few years ago though, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, it seems like
We talked about
Right.
it.
yeah.
We didn't do it, but we talked about it.
didn't we approve a quote at one of these meetings in the last several months?
Yeah.
We talked about it at the operators meetings a couple of months ago when Northern Pipe and Valve came up.
Oh.
And you talked about a quote. And then we talked about scheduling, but the scheduling didn't actually happen. Cause we need to know when. This will be, if it comes up on the sanitary survey, it'll be a deficiency. So we want to try to get it done before the next sanitary survey. So we need to know when the sanitary survey is to budget it.
It was done in 22.
22. So, and that's supposed to be every 3 years. So, they're behind. So it should be this year that they've done it, the next sanitary survey.
So we gotta get it done.
Yeah, they've not
In
done
like
sanitary
March,
survey.
or does it need to be warm outside?
Did you hear that, Brandon?
It has to be warm outside?
Yeah, is it something that's weather dependent?
No, not at all.
Sanitary surveys used to be every 5 years. They're trying to move them up to every 3 years. And obviously they're not being very successful, or you would have had one by now.
Yeah.
I usually have my back packets, but that's why this is so familiar. It's like.
Right.
when-
Yeah, we talked about it.
But
Right.
then we didn't, okay, well, go back and,
Well, it sounds like we need to do it. I mean,
Well-
they could do one of these surveys anytime.
Right, but a deficiency isn't that, we could just get a deficiency and fix it the next time. I
But
mean,
we may as well
it's,
get it done. I don't think we're pressed for money. I mean, especially if we're talking, sounds like we're talking, how much for these?
Let me look it up.
Cause I'm pretty certain before you gave us an idea what it was gonna run.
did we
Yeah,
include this in the CIP?
I don't think this was in the CIP.
You told us about the quotes, I didn't receive a physical quote. I was looking for the physical quote, in my files, and I couldn't find it.
Here it is.
I thought I'd forwarded over the quote.
Well, I didn't end up with it. Maybe Jillian has it.
Let me look.
May I ask another question about Northern Pipe, Pump and
Yeah,
Well?
here. Okay.
In their comments, they made a comment saying they had no previous information on the system when they came in. Why didn't you hand them the well file? Yeah, every sanitary survey I've been to, they say, don't you have a well folder? They ask for the well file or the well folder. Why didn't you just hand it to them?
Well, they have never done any work for Loch Alpine prior to that, and that's probably what they were going off of. I mean, we have the well folder. I wasn't on site when that took place.
When we get a new contractor, we just hand them the same folder that we hand the old contractors to. It's just, because you're supposed to have that folder around for emergencies. No matter who ends up working on your pumps, it's supposed to be all in one place. Every sanitary survey I've gotten, I we've gotten the lecture on that one. I don't know if you've gotten that lecture, but Dexter has.
Brandon, how much is the flow, are the flow meters?
I apologize. I'm looking right now. It's buried in estimate. Buried in thousands of emails. Here we go. Here it is. $19,749.
Or both or one?
I believe that is for both.
19,700 and,
Wait a minute.
Because I thought it was like 30,000 between the two of them or less, but that may have been initial. Quote.
That is for the 6-inch one, which would be at well 3. There's another one. Let's see. That's the same one. Okay. Because I know there was one for well number 1. There it is. For well number 1 is $6,936.
and you said well 3 was 19,000?
Or a
Yes.
3-incher.
Yeah, that's a 6-inch meter.
But
6 inches.
19,700?
Well, one is a 3-inch or a 4-inch?
Well, 1 is a 4-inch.
4-inch.
Okay, again, the 6-inch well number 3, 19,700?
And $49.
Oh, 749. Okay, great. Well, we have 48,000 in repair and maintenance in the water budget as of when we approved it. I don't know what it is now. If we've,
I can bring, I'll add that as an action item. I can pull up the general ledger. I don't have access on this computer.
okay, if you could
Let's see.
just let us know when you find out how much.
We can do the one this budget year and budget the next one, next budget year.
Well,
And
if we haven't spent any money for repair and maintenance this year, then we can do
Do
both.
both.
But we have to find out how much we have left.
so in the capital improvements plan, there was $210,000 allocated for the water tower. The bid came in at 126,000 and change, so there's some capital money available as well.
That is capital.
Yeah, that's just the capital. And Ted, say that again though, so I can
There
change
is-
it in the
there is-
capital.
There was 210,000 allocated for the water tower, between 3 line items, and the bid price was 126,000 and change. So, I mean, I guess I don't know where the Dixon cost was for the engineering cost was or what it is, if it happened this year or last year. But my point is that there's some capital money available from that water tower line item.
84,000 different.
Yeah, yeah, plus or minus a few.
Yeah. Close enough.
Okay. And
Well,
that, and we planned on doing that 2026 budget year though, right?
yes,
Mm,
which is this year, right? We're in the fiscal year 25-26 budget.
Yeah, that's right. Mm. Okay, well, as soon as we find out from Ryan, and then this will have to go on the board packet.
The board packet, yeah. I think it should go to it.
That's January 26th.
Yep.
Okay, anything else about the flow meters?
Nope, I think that's kind of the end of what I've got at this point.
Okay.
So,
Did you have something?
no, it's gonna be later.
Okay, well, Ted, I I notice I have, well, I just kind of copied and pasted from the last, the board meeting on Monday, but, the GIS we talked about, and we have, a couple of members today that weren't there on Monday.
Sure,
Usually on there, but-
we're progressing on the setting up the GIS, moving the data that we have into the Esri cloud, so that's happening. I guess I think the next step there is to get a license, an ArcGIS online license for Loch Alpine, which I will organize for you guys, and then start the training. I mean, it's not terribly difficult to use. So once we get that account opened and shared, we'll have a couple of training sessions and kind of move on there. We did receive bids for the well house generator. The board approved on Monday. The board approved the bid. I think innovated energy controls or something like that, for $144,000 and change or so. So that's in progress. The aforementioned water tower, they are still gathering their bonds and insurance. So the contracting process is going on, and that's next spring work. And then I'll wait on the sewer cleaning this time.
Okay, anything else? I guess, that pretty much covers it for now. All right, Andrea.
Okay, I went to the LAI meeting yesterday and they had a couple concerns, especially about, first off, about the, hooking the pressure, tank up to the PID. Has your, arrangement that you come up with, Brandon, been at least reviewed by Ted?
It wasn't existing. This is a repair. But we can have Ted look at what we're kind of looking at doing.
In case the standards have changed. Basically, I brought this, this up and I could not explain it very well, but basically the board is concerned that they'd rather not have this repair affect, the water tower project and have suddenly have no water. So can you have Ted make sure that, this is gonna be copacetic, with what you're doing, with the changes you're making? And then with the PID and the pressure tank. And I'm still confused because PIDs are electronic interfaces, and I'm not sure how the pressure tank, affects the electronic interface. But you were going to test that before you do the project, right?
Yes, the PID is a set pressure that when the
Right.
tower is offline, it's going to maintain pressure.
Well, PIDs are also an electronic device, so I'm getting
Yeah,
confused
that's
here.
why we're going to test it before we switch it over. But we have to make a piping repair because the existing one developed a leak. So we just have to repair the piping so that it's reconnected back up to the pressure transducer.
Just make sure that the standards haven't changed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll run it by Ted.
because Sean Brown, gets bug in his ear about changes, and I'm sure Ted knows what Sean Brown wants for this kind of thing.
So LA.
No, I don't. No, Sean Brown wants what Sean Brown wants. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think what Brandon has suggested makes sense to me.
Okay.
The pressure tank is a Y spot in the line, is all it really is, and it's going to have the same pressure, and it probably gives a more kind of attenuated control. So you get less bounce in it. You get more of a constant pressure, which is a better solution for this. PID.
Okay. All right.
PID means what? Proportional integrative differential. So the PID. Yeah, so the PID loop just kind of like takes that pressure and it will speed up or slow down the pump appropriately to maintain that pressure at a certain spot. So, and those three things just matter, how fast it changes. So, it is a controller, but I mean, I think what Brandon's doing makes a ton of sense.
All right, good. It's just we've had Sean Brown come to Dexter and make us yank out things, so I don't want it to happen here. Spend $1,000 and have Sean Brown come by and tell him to make it
We
go
can we can
away.
we can send Sean a bill, right?
And Sean is from where?
Eagle.
He's from Eagle. He's our district engineer.
Gotta
Yeah,
be for
there's
me.
also process instrument diagram.
Diagram,
which-
right? Yeah, they all have the same
If they think
names.
you're changing something in your process, that might.
Yeah, and they are yes, LAIs. I told them about the sewer cleaning plan, and they're concerned about the areas in Loch Alpine. You know, how we're gonna make sure that they don't have any problems while we're doing the sewer cleaning in one part of the town. I mean, the subdivision. I mentioned that the simplest way would be pulling manholes would be a quick check to see how water is flowing through the system. And while you got Rogas there, if there turns up there are any places that look like they're plugging up, maybe they could do a side trip besides the map that was brought up on Monday while they're there. I mean, there's money there for contingencies. So
For cleaning?
okay, for the meeting on Monday, it isn't in this one.
I don't
But-
have to see the map.
Okay.
All I'm
right.
saying is that they're worried about backups during cleaning.
No, they're worried about other hotspots not being addressed and then there being no money left, after we've done sewer cleaning. So at least in Dexter, the way we do it is we have our rotating seven quarters that we go through. But before we do our quarter, we do sewer manholes and check and make sure there isn't something obvious that needs to be addressed. And it gets addressed with the quarter, if there's any surprises. And it doesn't fix every problem, but it fixes some, and it's not hard to pull a manhole.
What do you want, spot checking? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I want spot checking.
Brandon, is that feasible?
I mean,
And is
like-
that out of scope, or I don't know how. this
Where
works.
are you? I mean, are you talking spot checking while they're doing the sewer cleaning?
No,
Just
before they
Randomly.
do sewer cleaning. So if something needs to be added or subtracted, if you need to, and if there's no problems, you just go along with your original plan.
I mean, we can. It's that pulling manholes and just to check is out of scope, but we can do that. And just check.
How many manholes are you proposing, Andrea?
You got us, well, you're gonna be checking on the major trunks is where you'd be checking. That's where Dave Navarre was checking before they did sewer cleaning, was they checked the major trunks just to make sure.
What's the basis for pass fail? A historical depth of flow, or? I mean,
Yeah,
I get,
Visuals.
there's- yeah,
My best
right.
guess.
and the stuff's halfway up the,
Well, if you look at it every year, you know.
yeah, I mean, well, you don't wanna drop a stick, knock a hole through it, but.
Right, yeah, no,
You know, it's,
Well,
what's
we-
your basis of comparison? This is good or it's not good, you know?
I can pull out a map from Dexter
I mean, yeah.
or
it's a-
the kind of guides.
Things like
we
that,
have.
but when you're doing it, if the flow happens to be high or low, due to, I don't know, you probably pick the right time of day. In the morning, there's probably more flow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Aren't you,
it's
aren't
something
you,
we do every year, just before we do, the quarter, and then sometimes it adds things and sometimes it doesn't.
wouldn't you be looking for like surcharged manholes? So like if the water was above the pipe, if it's within the pipe, you're probably okay. If it starts getting above the pipe, then you might want to investigate why that's above the pipe, right? Isn't that kind of what you're looking at? Whether or
Yeah, and you're
whether or
gonna
not you saw
look
it
and
last
see
year.
if there is a manhole that has a lot of grease and
Rings.
rags, then
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have a breather hole in the manhole?
Almost all of them have a hole in them.
You just drop a level sensor down and
No,
measure it where it beeps,
no. You'd wanna pull them, but
just look at it.
that's so hit or miss.
Right.
I mean, really, unless you get, like, if there's a specific thing, depends on how much grade you have. I mean, honestly, you'd have to pull every one to really find the stuff. I don't know that that's productive. I really don't.
How many manholes are there along the main trunks, I guess. I mean,
I
You're saying
don't know
truck
the
lines
exact
have to
You
number.
can, yeah, well,
Or just main trunk line, like just every third and a main.
in Dexter, we have a plan to go through all the manholes,
Mhm.
basically, over, there's stuff that gets checked quarterly, there's stuff that gets yearly, there's stuff that gets checked every couple of years. So you basically make a map and decide which ones are the important ones. There's the ones there's one by the river that gets checked when it's raining. So, it's part of collection system is the manholes. It's a snapshot of how things are doing. Otherwise you're running for all of the rest of the system doesn't get checked at all.
well, didn't we talk about a manhole program checking?
We
When
did.
you got the GIS, it makes the manhole programs a
Right.
lot easier because then you can just enter the data right in on the GIS system and you can look at previous years. That's because we got a list of previous years of what the manhole looked like, right there on that GIS system. It works really great.
Yeah, I'm excited about the GIS. That's gonna be really helpful. So Brandon, how much would it be out of scope for a manhole checking?
I don't know
program or whatever
offhand.
it's called?
I mean, it depends on how many manholes you do. If he's
Yeah.
going and popping one manhole, it takes him 10 minutes or less. But
Yeah,
if
if
he's
it's,
popping 60, it's
Well,
gonna take
yeah.
considerably more time to drive manhole to manhole and pop them all.
Well, manholes is something that everybody at Dexter, you just fit it in when you have time.
Picture for the.
Yes, yeah, but we talked about this having some sort of program
Sure.
before, so.
Maybe.
If you could, how about if you. Maybe Ted and Brandon figure out how many, because we have a manhole map somewhere, and I think it's up to date now, and if you could. Give us an idea of. How much that would be, even if we did it once. And maybe after the GIS, or take pictures, like Dave had said, and then upload that when we get the GIS.
I mean,
I don't know.
here's my suggestion. Not sure this is the best way, but I would wait for the GIS to be implemented because then you can have all of the manholes put in the GIS system and then you can attach the photos so you have historical records of, hey, we went out here on February 5th, 2026. We went out again on August 13th, 2026, and here's the conditions that were documented at the time. You can make a GIS survey within the GIS program if you want to ask specific questions about the manhole or other infrastructure item. It makes sense to wait just a little bit till the GIS system is live to do the work, because then we have some of the history if we ever want to go back.
Well, you don't have history until you start making it.
Yeah, and LAIA is concerned about maybe there's another section that needs more attention than the two that we have chosen, but it makes sense, and that's actually, that will be our next,
Agenda item.
yeah, so.
Yes.
Do you have anything else with your report? we'll get back to
Yeah, I reported on Mercury and they were very concerned about the Mercury. But they didn't have, anything really to add on that score. At least not right then.
And the mercury is not in the water, it's in the sewer, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that, right, in the water, then it would be filtered out, I'm assuming.
Well, if it was in the water, we'd be having a totally different conversation.
Yeah.
True, okay. Okay. Anything else, Andrea?
No, that was it.
All right, so then, now we're gonna segue right back into
Into
the
the
sewer
sewer
cleaning
cleaning, yes.
plan and the quote. So we did talk about this at the board meeting. And they kicked it over to us. Which is fine.
Kicked it over to us to approve or to talk about?
Well, yeah, to talk about, and then there's two quotes in there, road and M&K.
Yeah.
Then, of course, we have the CIP and the budget, just to look at things. And Ted and Brandon, could you please share the reasoning behind why you chose those two areas for cleaning? And yeah, there's the map. Okay. We have. We can stop extra paper. Just blank pages.
Uh, we chose those two areas just based on the length of time since it's been clean. You know, there's a map in the wastewater plant that the previous operators had marked up with different colors annually. So we looked at that. We looked at the what we did for the SAW program in 2017 or whatever, and then what F&V did in 22, 23, and we focused on the areas that were had the the longest time since being cleaned. So that was the area that we chose.
And there was something about downhill or uphill.
Well,
You want to push it downhill.
Yeah,
to the
downhill.
plant.
you want to push it, you want to, with an area, there's like two interceptors that kind of run parallel down East and West Loch Alpine. And those, we try to focus and get all that pushed into the interceptor so that it has the most direct route to the plant, whatever gets broken loose. So, if anything.
Okay.
So I have a question with regards to the two work proposals. There's a differentiation between the amount of cleaning and televising that was brought
So
up.
I think with the M&K quote, that was like we took, I think it was 1/7 or 1/5 of the system. I don't remember which number, and said
There's 1/5.
1/5, and plan to clean that much. And they came back with that price of, I think it was 450 a foot to do the cleaning and the PACP analysis. The second one, the Rogue,
It's about 1/10.
yeah, we took a smaller chunk, and because we had $25,000 allocated in the budget for this, so we took a smaller chunk and actually thoughtfully looked at it this time. Instead of just saying 1/5 of the system is X amount of feet, we said, all right, let's look at that area. What is it, off of West Loch Alpine there, and there's 6,000 feet in that quote, and they quoted 350 a foot. Really, the numbers to take away from the quote are the 350 a foot and the 450 a foot. That's the difference, right? So Rogue is quoting 350 a foot, and it's so he's that much cheaper than the other guy.
So Rogue did actual versus M&K doing estimated 1/5.
Yeah,
That's the big difference.
yeah,
So Rogue basically did what's yellow on our map.
yes,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, M&K would have been, I mean, they're a little cheaper if you have heavy cleaning because it's 225 as opposed to 350.
right.
But considering that they did that for 11,000, it would only get more expensive for them if they were going to do it for less.
Yeah, I mean they were.
Yeah, I would have hoped they would have had some kind of quantity discount in there too. The more you do, the cheaper it generally gets. So,
Yeah, I don't know. When we did the SAW program in 2017, there was like $3 a foot was the price. I mean, it's not neither one of those prices is that much greater than that. I think they're pretty skinny as it is. So.
yeah.
And Ted, the Rogue does not have televising included, or
It does.
it does?
It
It's
does.
just down, okay.
It's the first part as opposed to the second.
Oh, the CC, okay. got it.
CCTV.
And we wanted to have a little bit of a cushion just in case there was an issue, so that's
Sure.
why it's 22,000. And the other idea was, this is part of this year's budget, and if we can schedule this closer to this, because our new budget year begins July 1st, have the one section began, let's say in June, and then our new budget would be approved with the 25,000, and then go right to have them do the next section right in the next budget year. Did I say that right? I'm so tired.
Yeah.
But that was just an idea, but right now we need to focus on this first.
Okay.
I mean, I think it makes sense to approve them up to 25,000. And for that first area, then if there's if there's no heavy cleaning and we have a couple $1,000 left, we can either hit side areas as Andrea suggested, or some of those other areas that we have highlighted, just to fill up that budget, right?
Have we had any issues in any reported issues in any of those places?
Not that I'm aware of.
And is one of those our one that happened in the past year?
No,
That area is not in this?
no.
Okay.
But that was cleaned out when
It was
The issue-
partially cleaned out.
partially.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know to what extent we did the clean out on that. So, I would I would look at going even a little higher, Ted, I would say. I mean, how many years has it been since this was cleaned? When was the last time for these areas?
Um, Good question.
Are you looking 5, 10 years probably?
And Jeff, what do you mean by higher?
So like Ted was
30,
saying, 25,
35.
I would go 30. Cause you get one problem and it takes a couple hours, that's gonna push you to that 25,000.
Well, then, okay, then the board will have to amend the
What did the board go to?
25,000.
Oh, well. If
We-
they're,
we
if
could-
they already
Well,
voted for it, I think it's fine. I don't wanna send it again.
okay,
I'm just curious.
yeah, and we only, actually, we may have to do an amendment anyways, because well, sludge removal is for the biosolids, correct?
Yeah.
That's what she named. Okay, so repair and maintenance, we only have 19,000 here. So we're gonna have to approve or,
Legal fees, is another area that we have to address at some point for it, but we'll come back on that.
well, yeah, but for now, because we have 25,000 for the sewer cleaning in the CIP, but only 19,000 in the repair and maintenance under sewer. So we're gonna have to amend that.
Yeah.
That looks like it was last cleaned in 2008, 9, and or 2009 and 10. So
Okay.
Okay. It's been quite some time, and is that old system? Are we talking about VCP there? Vitrified clay pipe is what that is.
I believe that is the old system. Yes, that's the 1980. Yeah, that's the older sewers.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're probably gonna find that you need more. But,
At least we get a start.
yeah, that's a start. You'll get there.
Do you think it makes sense to use road or MFK, given the price differential? Probably makes more sense to use road because we can get more done.
Well, it makes more sense to use road. I mean, I'm like 25% cheaper.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever worked with road?
I have. They did Brighton Township.
And
They
what's,
did all
what
right.
was your thought? They did okay?
Yeah.
And you're furnishing the water and all that there?
Well, Loch Alpine furnishes the water.
Right.
We usually
No,
have them fill right under the
You,
water
Brandon, personally, you're gonna be driving around with a water truck.
tower. It makes some money. No, we usually have them fill right underneath the water tower at that fire hydrant.
Okay.
And they don't dump there and have you guys process?
We do not have a place to dump.
Okay.
So, a motion to recommend Rogue to the board for approval.
Make a motion to recommend the plan and recommend the acceptance of the quote from Rogue Sewer Clean, for sewer. Rogue Sewer Clean for sewer clean. Alright, that's up.
Can you, hey Ryan, can you add up to $25,000 expenditure?
Up to 20, not to exceed
Not to exceed
$25,000.
25,000.
Thank you.
Second,
Not to exceed 25,000, okay. And there was, do we need a roll call vote or do you want? Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
aye.
Great, motion passes 5-0. Right? Yeah, 5-0. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for tomorrow night. Want some sleep. All right, great, and I will place this on the January 26th board agenda. Well, okay, anything else?
Brandon, you, in the plan, that your monthly report, you, it said that the reports are available on request. Can you start attaching the water and sewer reports for the operations meeting, please?
Certainly. It's no
Thank
problem.
you.
And can you also send the last sanitary survey, to the operations committee so we could see what happened last time?
I can do that.
Just so we know what's gonna happen next time.
Yep.
Okay, so water and sewer reports, and what was the other? I'm making,
The sanitary survey shows up, it's supposed to show up every 3 years, and you basically, it gives you a snapshot of what the DEQ is thinking about your system. It's good to know what the DEQ thinks of your system, because then you can plan your next steps and try to make them happy, which doesn't work sometimes, but sometimes it does.
okay, great. All right. I'll make some space for that, the next agenda. Well, and, okay, all set?
Public comment.
Yeah, and we had a quick meeting. Now is the time for members of the public to speak to LASA Operations Committee for up to 5 minutes and. No,
Look at you.
all right, let's see. Anyone online? We just have Colt is in attendance and. Yeah, does Colt, do you have anything to share? Is he?
Oh,
No, okay.
okay.
Well, then I thought that was him walking up. Yeah, there's nobody else. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn at 1:54?
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you.
Excellent.
Happy
Thanks,
holidays,
guys.
everyone.
Happy holidays.
We can do that
Oh,
next time, so.
oh, shoot.
Oh.
Just something I brought up, so.
What was that, Dave?
Oh, there's this thing that I saw this morning where they've got Michigan Planet Detroit has got a lead service line tracker.
Oh,
And so they've got all a map and you can go right to all the systems. So like Alpine is on there. If you go there, we're listed as non-compliant for lead service lines.
I did talk to Brandon about that earlier and he said that their Eagle is behind in their reports and we are.
updating.
I figured you got the data.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to the DSMI site and you're listed as having no copper services.
Pretty quick, huh?
So under the DSMI, it's right.
No lead.
Okay.
Awesome.
Maybe something later we should. So,
What's that?
I mean,
Yeah.
can you send that to me?
yeah.
Probably.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.
I stopped.
But, yeah, I don't know the site that unfortunately, one side of DEQ doesn't often know what the other side's doing, but I can. Okay.